You are now listening to the Q&E Podcast.
Is this what you want? Huh? Is this what you want? Well, come and get it, goddammit!
What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Q&E Podcast. You are here with your boy Q Hicks right now, and I got Edgar on the other line. Edgar, tell the people what's good.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Q&E Podcast. Today, we are reviewing Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version. I know a lot of us growing up, we probably seen the old school version with no CGI at all and a lot of strings and a lot of terrible choreography. But this time we get a full up-close movie of all the characters we've come to know and love from the video games, from the movies, from maybe even comic books to some degree. You know, so I was very excited to see the movie. Didn't really get what I fully expected, but it was still a decent watch.
It was an enjoyable watch, man. That's one thing I would definitely say about the movie, bro. But like you said, it was a lot of things that were missing. And one thing that I said coming into the movie is I hope that they don't try to give us too much story. And I feel like that's what's happened. We didn't get enough fighting and we got way too much storyline and all that background that we really didn't need. Like in the 1999 or 1995 version, I feel like it was like a perfect balance. Like even though you said we didn't have any CGI, none of that, I felt like it was perfect because they only really had 30 minutes of story and there was like a fight incorporated like in every other scene with a lesson in between as well. But in this one, it was just way too much story, bro. Like we got like an hour of story and like 30 minutes of like actual fighting and like tournament shit. And I'm like, bro, that's way too much for a Mortal Kombat. When we came for fights, bro, we want to see fighting. Like, we don't give a fuck about the storyline. And that's one thing I know about it, bro.
No, like I did care about the storyline to some extent. One reason I really cared about the storyline is because let's just say a couple of stars from the movie while we at it. Louis Tan, he's the star as Cole Young. You know, we had Jackson here played by McCad Brooks. Jessica McNames played Sonya Blade. You know, those are just some of the main characters of this story. But Cole Young, I just feel he wasn't necessary.
He was weak as hell. He was weak.
Like, but when they introduced him, I'm thinking early in the movie, within the first 20 minutes of the movie, I'm thinking they're going to plan on him being the next Scorpion, especially with the way they tried to show him always visioning his ancestor in his dreams. I'm like, okay, that's going to be his arcana. That's what Raiden was telling them later in the movie. You have to figure out what your arcana is to get the full power for your Mortal Kombat stuff. And I'm like, okay, his ancestor, Scorpion, he's going to give him like his arcana so he can be the next Scorpion. That did not happen at the fuck all. So that was the biggest disappointment for me because I feel the storyline would have made so much more sense and it would have felt complete if that's what happened. And it didn't.
I feel like they just did try to do too much with Cole. I wish they would have just kept it to the original, how it was always was when Liu Kang was the actual star, and we just built off with Liu Kang. We meet Sonya Blade and we meet the other people down the line. You could have met Kano or all them down the line, but y'all should have centered it around him. Like he was more of a side character in this movie, and I didn't fuck with it at all. Being that Cole was so weak, in my opinion. Even though he eventually found his arcana, he had some cool powers. Like man, it was in a couple of his fights. He was getting his ass beat and had to be saved a couple of times. I'm like, and this supposed to be the chosen one? And I'm like, man, he was looking mighty weak, my boy. I would have rather them just keep it with the Liu Kang shit because he's always been that nigga. He's the one of the original characters as well. Just keep it simple. They trying to throw in new niggas like Cole, and it's just like, what's the purpose? Especially when you don't close it up with, like you said, with him eventually being the next Hanzo and the next Scorpion. What's the point? What's really the point, bro? But let me give you guys the synopsis before we dive too deep into the movie. The synopsis of Mortal Kombat, the 2021 version, is he is hunted by the fearsome warrior Sub-Zero. MMA fighter Cole Young finds sanctuary at the temple of Lord Raiden. Training with experienced fighters Liu Kang, Kang Lao, and the rogue mercenary Kano, Cole prepares to stand with Earth's greatest champions to take on the enemies from Outworld in a high-stakes battle for the universe. So that is the synopsis for it. And you already gave your expectations for it. And my expectations, I thought this was going to be a good distance better than the 1995 version, but I really don't know if I got that with this movie. Like you said, the only real upgrade was the graphics, the effects, the CGI. But other than that, bro, when it comes to storyline, there was a lot of missing things in there for me, bro. Like I said, it was an enjoyable watch by the end of it. You like, okay, I enjoyed the film. I will say that.
Right.
But they still feel like it was still something missing. You feel what I'm saying? Especially if you grew up playing the game and shit. It's like, damn, like we didn't get enough fights. And that's why I go back to the point of you gave us too much story. Because I said this before, like if you would have threw us a bullshit storyline and just kept it simple with the premise, because the premise in all Mortal Kombat movies is Outworld is about to take over. They've won 9 fights. If they win one more, they're taking over the world. That's always been the storyline. So if you just give us that and then just create some bullshit after that and just show us like an Outworld fights in a tournament, like I'm cool with that. But the fact you trying to dive into Cole and we had to find out his arcana and shit, and then Kano ended up switching teams. Like, but then by the time we actually get into a tournament, we're an hour into the movie, hour 10 into the movie. I'm like, are you serious right now? Like that shit was blowing me, bro. That shit was blowing me.
And honestly, I wasn't fully disappointed. I was disappointed for all the reasons that you said. There was just a lot of empty storyline that just didn't really need to be there. They tried to like play on Cole's family a lot, and I'm like, his family didn't even really need to be involved with this movie at all. They could have found a way to keep them to the side and shit.
Facts. Did you think that was his daughter at first? I thought that was his little sister. I was like, yeah, how was he a father?
I thought that was his sister, or I'm thinking they're finna introduce, like, I'm thinking they playing with the original shit and they're trying to add new shit. I'm thinking, oh, is she gonna be like a young fighter, like somebody new to the Mortal Kombat storyline that's never been introduced? I think it's going to be some shit like that. 10 minutes later in the movie, you find out that's just his daughter. I'm like, yeah, this just didn't need to be included at all.
It did it. I agree.
But it's like, I know they were preparing for a second and third one, because I seen an interview with the director, and the director said there are going to be 2 more movies after this. So they did set it up perfectly with how they ended it with the, with the Johnny Cage poster and stuff like that. And the reason that there was no Johnny Cage scene is because he said due to COVID and everything that kind of messed up certain things about the movie that they couldn't fully do, they weren't able to cast the Johnny Cage. So that's why at the end of the movie, when you see the Johnny Cage poster, the head is cut off and it just shows the belt that says Cage. Because he said they were supposed to actually have a scene where they go to Hollywood at the end of the movie and, there's a cameo of Cage, but due to COVID and everything, it stopped a lot of stuff for the movie. So that's why I didn't want to grade this too hard.
And that's big too, because Johnny Cage is one of the original characters, bro. Exactly. That's crazy. And there's some movies like this where I would have rather them came out like later past, when we get past this pandemic season like that we're getting past right now. I would rather this movie came out where you can cast the Cage, or he could just be involved with the film, because he's a big part of Mortal Kombat in general, bro. So Facts. I would have loved to see him in that, man. But still, I was still excited I wasn't excited for the second one, but I was glad to see that they are going to have a second one that will incorporate Johnny Cage. So hopefully we get back to the regular storyline. I just don't know how they're going to play with Cole in the future. I really don't. Because I just don't
I'm
like
confused on that too. I'm confused on that too, because like you said, I'm thinking, okay, when he was getting beat up in the movie, I'm like, okay, there's obviously going to be a turning point, like once the climax of the movie comes where he starts kicking other people's asses, and that part just didn't come, and I think that's what made me so upset. And I'm like, bro, okay, he done got his ass kicked like 2 or 3 times. We're gonna see him reach his arcana, and he's going to be the next Scorpion, and then he's going to defeat Sub-Zero by himself. Even if everybody helped him beat Sub-Zero, it's going to be the main bout between those two. I just hate the fact that did not happen. I feel like that was a huge mistake on the director's behalf, because I get what he was trying to do since we didn't see that. So it is giving a hint that Scorpion is still going to be in the future, I think, regardless of whether it's Cole or not. But I just would have rather it been Cole, since y'all made him the main character of the damn movie.
Man, but just going through the movie, and like some of my favorite scenes from it, man, had to be that first scene when it was Hanzo and he was just killing everybody. Oh my God, I love that. That's probably one of my favorite scenes. Might be my favorite scene from the film, is that opening scene where he was kicking everybody ass with that with his knife or whatever. He had that bitch on the rope, That shit was fire, bro. That whole first scene was fire. Even when he fought against Sub-Zero, all of that was fire to me, bro. And then like the movie started to go sideways when you incorporated Cole. That's why I'm like, I'm not excited about Cole moving forward, bro. I'm really not. But I love that first scene. And also, I didn't understand who his son was. Because you know his son was left underneath the floorboards or whatever when we leave the first scene. Was that Cole or was that Liu Kang? Like, who was under the floorboards?
No, who was it? I don't think it was a specific person. I just think it was his youngest child. And when Raiden came, that's why he saved the child, because he knew that child would continue to have the mark to be one of Earth's heroes moving forward. So that's why Cole was actually born with his mark, as opposed to the rest of the people in the movie. Well, at least the rest of the American fighters in the movie, they had to defeat someone to get that mark. He was born with it. It was passed down. And I think the same is for Liu Kang. Was Liu Kang born with his, or did he earn his by killing somebody who had it?
Usually he earned his. No, he was the chosen one. He was the chosen one in the original. So I'm pretty sure he was born because he was a descendant of Kang Lao. He was a descendant of Kang Lao in the 1995 version. So it was passed down to him. Okay,
so yeah, see, Cole is the same way. So I think they were just showing the fact that for generations, it was leading up. Once again, it was leading up to the point to where Earth's on the brink of being taken over. You know, you're the last person right now with this mark. And since he has a daughter now, wouldn't his daughter have the mark too? That's another reason why I'm thinking they're finna incorporate her some kind of way. And that shit just did not happen at all. Like, I don't know. I think there were too many mistakes. And as great as the fight scenes were, because you said your favorite part of the movie was the beginning, when Hanzo was fighting with the spear. I think my favorite part was when the actual Mortal Kombat shit started and you see Raiden transporting everybody to have their fights. That was my favorite moment because it gave me the video game vibes that we were used to.
Yeah. Bro, the best kill, and it was easily the best kill in the movie, was when Kang Lao had his sombrero on the ground.
Yeah.
What's the old girl name who be licking this shit? What's her name?
Melina.
Melina had her head was or her body was split in half. That was the best kill. That was the best kill of the movie easily, bro. And like I said, I love that CGI and the effects of this movie. That was great. The last 30 minutes were great. I love seeing that. But just like you said, Cole not coming into like being that hulking figure like you would want him to be was definitely a missing plot point, especially once you spent an hour on building him up when he just still looked weak as hell. So I feel like eventually he will become Scorpion and he will take over that, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But I think for now, he's just going to have to be the Blades or whatever with the armor.
And my bad, I said that was Melina. That was Natara that Kung Lao killed. Who killed Melina? I forgot who killed Melina. I can't remember at the moment, but that was Natara that Kung Lao killed. But
that's the one who was flying, wasn't it? That was the one who was flying.
That's the one who was flying.
I'm right. That's my fault. Yeah.
No, yeah, that was Natara. Melina was the other girl with she had the mouth. You remember Bakara with the blade arms? Like, she was basically, she was him basically. What else did I like about the movie? What could I really say I like? Oh, they did. I didn't like the way they did Jax. I don't know if it's just me.
Yeah.
They just really hold Jax. I ain't like that at all. Even when he found his Arcana and his arms became like way stronger and shit, like I felt like they could have just did him way better because his arms ain't even look that much more impressive to me. I'm thinking his shit finna be like Cyborg from Teen Titans for real or some shit. And it was just like a 10-year update to his arms. Like, come on, bro.
And it made sense. It made sense though, because where they were building his arms at, it was just like you really had no technology for it. So they just had to piece things together. That's why he had them skinny little arms. And then when he found his Arcana, he actually became like muscly and shit. So I'm like, okay, that was cool, bro. But man, some other people I liked. I loved Kang Lao. I wish they would have done Liu Kang more justice. I just would have liked to see more fights. That's basically what I'm saying. I just would have liked to see more fights because in the 1995 version, I keep referencing that movie because I literally just watched it again last night and everything is so fresh in my mind. Like he was the main character, and with all of the main characters in that movie, with Johnny Cage, with Sonya Blade, with Liu Kang, all of them had multiple fight scenes or multiple fights in the tournament, and they also had lessons in between. And I would have liked to see that as well. Instead of giving us all that hour of storyline, let these people fight. And when they win, give them a lesson on how to beat the better person that they're going to go up against next. That's something that the 1995 version did very, very well. Like storyline wise, just like story in general, 1995 was great. It's just like the fact that it was 1995, the CGI and all that shit was bullshit. But the story, the incorporated lessons, I loved all of that shit. When he had ended up fighting against Shang Tsung in the 1995 version, like all of that shit was great. And I feel like they should have been like that. They should have stole from that with multiple fights for each of their main characters. And they would have made the movie so much better, bro.
And I loved Kano. I don't feel Kano carried the movie like how a lot of other people are trying to say right now.
People said that. He carried the movie?
It's a lot of people saying Kano carried this movie. I'm like, I ain't gonna go that far. He was definitely one of the most entertaining characters. Like, who played him? Josh Lawson. Shout out to Josh Lawson. He played the fuck out of Kano. He did an amazing job. But I will not sit here and say he carried the movie. Especially because after he died, there was still like a whole 30 minutes left of the movie, so I can't say he carried it. But he played great. He played his role great. So that was one thing I liked about the movie. What else? It wasn't too much I liked about it other than the fight scenes. Like, I'm really trying to find something from the storyline, but they just had so many plot holes missing.
Like I said, bro, and that's why I keep going back. If they would have shortened the story and just lengthened the fights, people would have been fine with that. I'm telling y'all, if the storyline after the basic premise, like I already referenced with the Outworld and that verse Earth Realm, if y'all gave us some bullshit but just had a hella fights, I'm telling y'all, people will be loving this shit. Because they really don't care. Even though y'all setting up a Mortal Kombat 2, niggas don't care. Niggas just want to get that nostalgia from the video games. That's all people want. Like, they could care less about the actual story, bro. So give the people what they want with an hour of fights, an hour of tournament, Mortal Kombat tournament. And we just didn't see that, bro. And I want us to get if we're getting a second movie, I would like to see a Lord Raiden fight most definitely next movie. Definitely. And also Shang Tsung. Like in the movie I just referenced with 1995, like he was like the end fight for, or like the boss battle for Liu Kang. So I would have liked to see him incorporated if they bring in a Johnny Cage next for next movie. Shang Tsung definitely needs to be fighting.
Like, I'm ready to see Katana, I'm ready to see Baraka, I'm ready to see who else? Who else off the top of my head? Johnny Cage, of course. Damn, there's so many fighters I'm going blank on right now. Noob. Reptile. I ain't like the way they did Reptile in this movie. They dead ass like just made him a big ass lizard, which he is, but they didn't make him like on the video game, like he
had the hand. It's like
he had the hand. He looked like a ninja actually, but you knew he was the lizard. In this one, it was just a big ass overgrown lizard just going after people, spitting acid. And I'm like, yeah, they ain't do him that well.
Yeah. And they didn't do Goro that well either, bro. That was somebody else who was like a huge figure in Mortal Kombat. Like, he's one of the hardest people to beat. And
exactly.
I felt like Cole took him out a little too easy, especially when Cole was just trying to find out his powers for real. He taking out Goro. Like, Goro's a huge nigga to be taken out, my boy. That was a little too easy for Cole to be taking him out, bro. But we can move on to like more so the back end of the movie, because Sub-Zero carried this film. I don't know what the hell niggas talking about.
Yeah, Sub-Zero carried this shit. Cause
boy,
that nigga was
in it. Bro, he was the realest character in this shit. That nigga was cold, literally. That nigga was cold as fuck. Because in the beginning, when he was chasing down Cole to end up getting him and killing him off, like that whole scene when Jax had ended up coming to save him, and then he had got Jackson, fought Jackson, broke that nigga arms. Like, from the beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, like, I feel like they did that nigga Sub-Zero very well. Like, he should have died to Hanzo. Like, that was supposed to happen. That was like some fate type shit. But the way he did throughout the movie, like, Sub-Zero carried this film, and it wasn't even close in my opinion, bro. That nigga was the best character.
Definitely. And who played Joe Taslim? That's who played Sub-Zero. Shout out to him. Definitely did an amazing job. I love the way everybody said their Mortal Kombat phrases. It didn't sound corny. It didn't sound cringy. Like when Kung Lao said "flawless victory," it didn't sound corny. When who else said what? I think Did Shang Tsung say fatality or something like that?
He did.
Like,
He did say that. Yeah.
every line that everybody was saying, like, it actually, made sense, and not made sense. It actually sounded cool when Sub-Zero said, "I'm no longer," I forgot his actual name, but when he said, "I'm Sub-Zero," I thought it was gonna sound corny as hell. Everybody delivered their line exactly how it was supposed to.
But do you think the ending should have ended differently? So when Sub-Zero was fighting against so he was fighting against Cole at first. So he's fighting against Cole, and Cole already knew he was about to get his ass beat. He was praying that Hanzo came back and saved his ass, but he was praying. But the one problem I had about the last scene, I didn't like how Cole was trying to get his kids, or not his kids, but his girl and his kids out while it's a big ass fight for the earth on the line. I didn't like how he was trying to save them in the midst of a fight. I'm like, my nigga, what are you doing? Go help him. Go help this nigga Hanzo, my nigga. That shit was crazy.
I mean, I thought this is another reason why I thought he was gonna become Scorpion, because when he fought Goro and you see he first reached his Arcana, I'm thinking, okay, this is part one. We still got a good decent amount of the movie left. He got the armor on and shit. He's gonna get a different look when he taps deeper into his Arcana. And I thought that was when he was, especially when he seen his family frozen and damn near dead. I'm thinking, okay, this is gonna be the catalyst. This is gonna be what pushed him all the way. And all we see is your ancestor come from the dead. Well, not from the dead, but from hell to save your ass. And I'm like, bro, what? And then when they were working together, I'm like, you don't even really need to help this man. It's Scorpion.
You don't.
Like, he got the shit.
And that's what was crazy, bro. I would have rather if we see Cole like going toe to toe, and then Hanzo come in and like kind of finish that nigga off, some type shit like that. I feel like they could have still done a team up, but just not like that, because Hanzo was really, saying go to toe and toe. And then that nigga Cole threw in a few punches and was back to trying to save his kid. I was like, my nigga, this kid stay in the fight. Stay there, my nigga. So it was just like, man, it was some questionable things that happened. And then also, he got saved by Sonya. Because that's when old girl with the mouth. That's when old girl with the blade. What I keep forgetting her. Melina.
Melina, yeah.
Melina was about to get that nigga Cole ass, and then Sonya had kicked her ass off. No, she had got her Arcana too. And she had blasted that nigga. So I'm like, yeah. And it's funny because all of the characters that I really played with as a kid was like Liu Kang, I played with Sonya Blade, and I played with Kung Lao. Like those were like my three main characters that I played with, and Scorpion as well. Like those are like my four niggas I was leaving it. Yeah, those was my niggas, bro. Those are my niggas, and I can always get their combos right and all that. That's all. That's right. That was easy.
I had multiple people that I always played with. So like the top 5 or 6 people I played with: Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Noob. Noob was raw as fuck. I feel like that's a very underrated Mortal Kombat character. What's called Liu Kang, of course, Johnny Cage, and it's one that Raiden. Yeah, those are my top 6.
Yeah, Raiden is fire. I wish they would have had him actually doing something other than just teleporting niggas here and there and shit like that. Because in the 1995, he didn't fight either, but he was more just like the sensei giving out good advice.
He really like the OG. Yeah, he the OG.
Yeah. So he just be giving advice, but I would like to see him fight when the next one. Him and Shang Tsung definitely got to get a head up. Definitely have to get that involved, bro. But how did you feel about Sonya Blade? Because she was a good character to me. I think she played pretty well. So how do you feel about Sonya Blade?
I love the way they did her character because she didn't have the mark at first. And I thought that was real interesting. I'm thinking all the fighters going to have the mark, especially when she met up with Cole. I thought she was going to show hers when he showed his. And she told him how she doesn't have one. And I like the banter between her and Kano throughout the entire movie of, if you really want your shit, kill me, because you ain't never gonna be worthy to be a fighter if you don't have one. And I'm like, damn, like, well, who's Sonya gonna have to beat? I'm thinking Sonya is gonna be put in a situation where she has no choice but to fight and defend herself, because you seen when Melina almost killed her, she said, you don't even have the mark. Your blood means nothing. I'm not even gonna kill you. It's not working. I'm like, damn. That's crazy. That's how serious the mark is. I'm like, bro, who Sonya gonna kill, bro? And because
you're not even supposed to be there for real. You're not even supposed to be there if you don't have the marking, bro. Yeah.
So when Raiden put her against Kano, I'm like, this shit is finna be beautiful. I honestly think it wasn't my favorite kill, because I agree with you. Kung Lao had the best kill, But my favorite fight was probably Sonya Blade and Kano because that was the most personal, entertaining fight.
Hell yeah. I'm glad she shut up that nigga. That nigga was talking too much shit throughout the whole movie, bro. That nigga was talking way too much shit to that girl. He could end up kicking that nigga ass for real. Yeah, I fuck with that shit, bro. I fuck with that shit. Jax, he was more so a Brett Garrett character. Like you already spoke on Jax and his arms and his how he came into it. Man, who else was really a character in this film? Like I said, I wish they would have had a longer, and I keep just going back to the same point, bro. Sorry if I keep just repeating myself, man, but I just wish we had more time with Kang Lao. With Kang Lao, especially if you're going to move forward in the series of movies. We don't have him. Like, I love Kang Lao, bro.
Exactly.
Liu Kang, I love them niggas. So if you're not gonna have that nigga, I wish he would have had a better ending than how he ended up dying, because he basically saved everybody else from, because didn't they get teleported somewhere and Kang Lao had ended up dying? Isn't that how he died?
You talking about in this movie?
In this movie, yeah. I think he ended up sacrificing himself, basically, didn't he?
He didn't get teleported anywhere. He stayed at the temple. Everybody else got sent to different spots. It was Shang Tsung that killed him because he took his soul. Shang Tsung did his fatality move.
Yeah.
These
I think Katana is going to play a big part in the next one, because I remember Katana in the 1995 version. She was around in the first movie, but she really became a way bigger part when it was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Like, she was one of like the main characters in that second movie. So I think Katana will have a way bigger scene like in the next movie when they bring back Johnny Cage and shit like that, bro. But yeah, man. Anything else, man, on this movie?
I'm just curious to see when the next one will come out. I don't know if it'll come out next year or if they're going to wait 2 years, because like I said, they still have to cast Johnny Cage, and I feel like that's their biggest hump right now before they even try to fully start producing again. So whoever they pick for Johnny Cage, please, y'all, pick somebody that can really give that vibe, because I feel everybody who likes Mortal Kombat, everybody loves Johnny Cage. Whether that's somebody you fight with on the game or not, everybody fuck with Johnny Cage, so you have to pick the right person. I feel like I got a good pick. What's his name? What's his name? Shit. I'm looking him up right now. Can't think of his name. Chris Evans. I feel like Chris Evans could play a very good Johnny Cage.
I can actually see that, because you got the hand-to-hand combat, like what's the name, dude? Like Captain America. So he
got the hair. He got the hair kinda. All you gotta do is put shades on him and put the belt on. I feel like Chris Evans could do that shit. Hey, make sure y'all hit Chris Evans up to see if he want to do that shit. I could definitely see that. Chris
Evans probably seen the first movie, probably said hell no. But I can see Chris Evans though. And I wanted to talk about, before we get out of here though, what movie was better between the Mortal Kombats, because they ended up having a series of Mortal Kombats for the 1995 one as well. But I just want to talk about the two originals, the 1995 and the 2021. Which one was better?
I'll say all around the 1995 one was better. The fights in this one were definitely better though.
It's definitely the 1995 one. Like I said, like it was a lot of expectation that this one was going to be better because we seen all the gore in the trailer, but man, everything that we got with the lessons, like the short story, but we still got the point type shit, like all of that shit just connected so much better in the 1995 version. And that the fact that they centered the story around Liu Kang made the shit better. Liu Kang is a better star than Cole, period. Right. He's a better star than Cole, my nigga. So I would have rather them, you know what I'm saying, center this around than Liu Kang than Cole, man. He's somebody new. Like, I just want to see how they use his characters.
The only way it would have been better with Cole as the star is if he would have became Scorpion. Other than that, just centering around Liu Kang and just let everybody else fill the spots where they may.
Yeah, because did Liu Kang even have the same background in this one? Did he say his brother died? Did he say that?
Nah, I don't think he said anything like that.
Yeah,
they really kind of brushed past everything Liu Kang and everything he did.
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's why I'm so upset. Because y'all dug into this nigga Cole so much, and we didn't get anything on this nigga Liu Kang, bro. Nothing on Liu Kang. We couldn't get a brother shout out or nothing. Come on, bro. That's the reason that nigga became, or because Liu Kang at first he didn't want to be a part of this shit, even though he had the symbol. He didn't want to be a part of the shit, even though he was the chosen one. But his brother ended up dying, and he wanted to get revenge on Chang Tsung. That was the only reason he came back. And you give us no background on that, or at least don't say that.
He talked about it for like maybe 2 minutes, I think. And then that was it. Like, they didn't show no flashback. They didn't go in depth with it for real. I think he honestly spoke about it for like a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes of the movie. And then they just kept going about the plot. And I'm like, bro, there's no context with the best character. How's there no context, bro?
That's what I'm saying, bro. That's what I'm saying, bro, man. This was like I said, an enjoyable watch. Enjoyable watch. That's the word I can use for this. I'll give this movie a 6 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10.
I gave it a 7 based off of what the director said of how the pandemic really affected them. So the fight scenes and the fact that we still lived some nostalgia to a certain extent,
we did.
I'll give them a 7. If I give them a 6, it's kind of like I'm just really saying the shit ain't that good. A 5 or lower to me is just terrible. Don't watch the shit. But I would tell people to watch this, so I'll at least give it a 7.
Yeah, I'll stick with the 6.5. I'll stick with the 6.5. Man, I'm looking forward to the Johnny Cage shit, though. How y'all incorporate Johnny Cage? Y'all know Katana, like I said, in the second one for the first series, I know Katana is going to be a bigger part, so I want to see how that is incorporated next movie, bro. That's something I am excited about and excited to see, man. Damn. And one word of advice, push that nigga Cole to the side. If y'all ain't gonna use this nigga to be the next Scorpion, push that nigga Cole to the side. For real, bro.
For real.
That shit is ridiculous.
But I hope they listen to this though, because Chris Evans, another good person that will probably be Johnny Cage, at least as far as the look. I don't know about the acting, but Jake Abel. I don't know if anybody remember Jake Abel, but he played in Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief in 2010.
Yes.
He definitely has a Johnny Cage look. I could picture him, but I haven't seen anything he's played in lately, so I don't know.
I was about to say though, he even looked the same. I ain't seen him since those movies.
I'm looking at pictures of him now. He definitely has the look. I don't know about the acting though, but with Chris Evans, we know for sure he could play that role because the way Chris Evans played an asshole in Knives Out, I know he can give that cocky swagger, can't nobody beat me attitude as Johnny Cage.
And you also have to have like at least some type of fighting skills as well. And I feel like Chris Evans would be better at that than Jake Abel would. So I definitely agree with that, the Chris Evans point as well.
And if he plays Johnny Cage, it don't matter how bad the first one was. They gonna give him that bag for the second one because you're gonna be one of the main people that people are gravitating towards to watch the movie. You're going to be the big name that everybody watches the movie for. So you'll get the biggest bag most likely.
And I heard that this film was the highest grossing film out of everything that they have released on HBO Max. So that's what have they released? The Tom and Jerry shit. What was the one?
Kong versus Black Messiah.
Judas and Black Messiah. Kong versus Godzilla. Yeah, so it's over all of that shit. It's over all of that. I think they made 3.8 in the first weekend. Niggas was ready to watch this movie. I'm telling y'all, man. And niggas was ready to watch this movie. So I am looking forward to the second one, man. Like I said, just push that nigga Cole to the side and I'll be happy. All right, bro. Do you got anything else?
Nah, that's it.
All right, bro. You can hit them with the social media.
You can follow us on Twitter at QE Podcast 1. You can follow us on Instagram at QANDE Podcast. You can follow and like our Facebook page. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can see anytime that we drop new episodes. And our email is QANDEpodcast@gmail.com for any business inquiries, questions, or concerns.
Yes, sir. And definitely subscribe to all of our podcast platforms. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And definitely check us out on wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also there as well. Subscribe to the YouTube Q&E Podcast. And definitely subscribe to my YouTube. Just type in Quincy Hicks and definitely subscribe. And definitely give us some suggestions moving forward on anything you guys want to be reviewed. Definitely give us suggestions. We have been reviewing Invincible, which has this season finale next week. What else? We have been reviewing Snowfall, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but those have concluded. So definitely give us suggestions moving forward, but we definitely would appreciate it. And we appreciate you guys for listening. And we out. Peace.